Concerns continue to grow over the Global Bank of Commerce following its quiet removal from the official list of licensed international banks published by the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, the FSRC. The August 14, 2025 edition of the FSRC's Directory of Licensed International Banks, the most recent update, does not include the Global Bank of Commerce, despite the bank being listed in the prior version issued on June 24, 2025. The bank has been operating here for over 40 years and has been celebrated as the grandfather of Antigua and Barbuda's international financial services sector. The sudden omission has intensified speculation surrounding the bank's regulatory status, solvency, and operational future. For several years, depositors and analysts have raised concerns about the bank's liquidity and overall stability. Among them is Canadian investor Jack Stroll, who in 2022 obtained a US $10 million High Court judgment against both the bank and its chairman and CEO, Brian Stewart Young. Calls and messages to Brian Stewart Young have not been returned, and the FSRC's Chief Regulatory Officer, Paul Ash, is reportedly on vacation. The Deputy Regulator, Marvin Williams, however, confirmed that the bank's name has indeed been removed from the official list, but did not provide further explanations. The FSRC's continued silence has sent shockwaves through the financial sector. They say the very agency mandated to safeguard the integrity of Antigua and Barbuda's banking system and to inform citizens of serious regulatory developments has instead chosen to remain mute and evasive. Critics argue that the FSRC's refusal to address the issue publicly represents a dereliction of duty and a betrayal of the transparency it is sworn to uphold. With confidence in the financial system hanging in the balance, the Commission's silence is not only irresponsible, they say, it is dangerously complicit, leaving depositors and investors in the dark while speculation runs wild. Until the FSRC breaks its silence and explains why Global Bank of Commerce vanished from its official list, the public is left to question whether the regulator is protecting the system or protecting those who may have failed it. The Ministry of Finance has not issued a public statement to clarify the situation, and Prime Minister Gaston Brown has not commented publicly on the matter. However, sources close to the situation indicate that the bank is about to enter administration shortly. Meanwhile, Brian Stewart Young has maintained that the Global Bank of Commerce remains operational and continues to function under the supervision of the FSRC. He has indicated that the bank has submitted a recapitalization and restructuring plan for review, which includes consideration of a transition toward a digital banking model. He also stated that since most of the bank's clients are international, communications regarding ongoing developments have been directed to them individually. Now, despite these assurances, the lack of any formal regulatory statement has fueled further calls for transparency and disclosure, especially given the potential implications for Antigua and Barbuda's financial reputation at a time when global scrutiny of Caribbean banking systems remain intense. As of this report, the Global Bank of Commerce official website continues to describe it as a Caribbean managed and operated international bank offering financial services since 1983. However, without an official license listing, ongoing legal entanglements, and no clear communication from authorities, uncertainty lingers over the true status of one of Antigua's oldest offshore banks. The question now facing both regulators and the public is clear. Is the Global Bank of Commerce still solvent, or has Antigua's oldest international bank quietly slipped into collapse behind closed doors? This has been a production of Antigua.news. I am Shermaine Big Charles.
We're in the heart of hurricane season, so that means that some days may be rainy or stormy. We made a call to Marlon Lawrence, a supervisor in the Transmission and Distribution Department at APUA, to find out how rainy or stormy weather affects the line workers out in the field.
What are some of the jobs that were planned, and what would happen as it pertains to the jobs because it's raining?
It depends on the job that we have scheduled. If we have a major job and what we will do, we'll call the Met Office. I'll call the Met Office myself and find out if it is something that will blow over in the short term, or it will be a continuous weather for the whole day. Because what we don't want to do, we don't want to start the switching, isolating areas and interrupting people's power, and then have to put it right back on and don't get to do the job. So as long as the Met Office tell us it is something that will be persistent, we will not start that job.
Are there any jobs that can happen even though it might be, let's say, lightly raining or anything? Or no?
Yes, it just depends on how heavy the rain is, whether or not you want to start a planned job. If we have a transformer that go during that time, we will go ahead and change out that transformer. If we have a broken pole, we'll go ahead and change out that pole. What we don't do, we don't work. If we have a thunderstorm where there's lightning and thunder, then we'll come off the field. But in terms of just rain, rain will not stop us from doing what we have to do.
Are there any special safety considerations if you do have to work in some rain?
Absolutely. With rain, you will have to be more cautious. The poles, if you're climbing poles, they will be more slippery. The bucket truck, getting up and down the bucket truck might be more slippery. So you have to proceed with more precautions. But in terms of just the basic rain without no lightning and thunder, we can continue working that.
Okay, and just lastly, what are any encouragement or tips you would give to the public regarding electricity and safety?
Well, the company has always been clear with down power lines. You always assume that it is live. You just go ahead and call the authority anytime you see any lines that are down. Don't try to say, hey, look, this one is electricity, this one is telephone, this one is cable. Just assume all of them is energized, call the relevant authority, and we will come and sort that out.